Ranking gym equipment based off how useful it is. Starting off with a belt. One of your classics, I mean, a belt is going to be very necessary for any lifter who's trying to take things seriously, right? A belt is never going to hurt you. You can use it on squat, deadlift, even bench. Some people use it on bench. I personally don't, but it's never going to harm you. It's only going to aid your gains in your lifts, right? And a lot of people think that a belt helps you with your like back problems, but that's not necessarily the case. What it really helps you with is it helps you with the bracing, and it helps you brace against something. It gives you something to brace against, and that could help your back if you brace more. Because if you don't brace, lifting can easily fuck up your back, right? So it makes sense how a lot of people think a belt helps your back, but that's really not the case. It's the bracing that helps your back, and the belt that helps your bracing. But I mean, you got to go S tier with the belt, man. And the belt is, I mean, once you try it, you can't go back. Like I don't give me squats without my belt, okay? Because it probably is gonna add like maybe 20-ish pounds in your squat. I can't say for certain, but deadlift it might not add as much for me, but it does make the lift feel smoother. In my personal experience. But for me, squat a belt really does add on some weight. It'll probably add on some weight on your deadlift too, but you just can't say for certain, right? Moving on, straps. Straps again, very useful piece of gym equipment, right? If you're doing any back machines like lat pull downs, rows, or anything like that, what's going to give out first? Your grip or your back muscles? 9 times out of 10, it's going to be your grip, right? So that's why straps are incredibly important to. There's no need, if you're trying to train back, there's no need for your forearm muscles and your grip strength to be the limiting factor. So I also have to put these in S tier, man. I mean, I don't want to just start off putting everything in S tier, but these two, I mean, you need them, right? They're basic. These two are never going to hurt you if you use them. And now knee sleeves. Here's the thing about knee sleeves. They're very useful, and once again, they're like an aid. It's never going to hurt you. I mean, most of the stuff isn't really ever going to hurt you, right? And they're not going to necessarily add pounds to your squat. Maybe like 5 to 10 pounds, maybe. But that's really not the actual intended purpose of knee sleeves. They're essentially just meant to keep your knees warm, and also in a way kind of acts as a spring, right? Transitioning from the descent to the ascent of the squat. So it can be very helpful. But then again, a lot of people nowadays aren't squatting. They're doing like a leg press and hack squat. And I would still recommend using knee sleeves for lifts that aren't squat. I use them on lunges. I use them on leg press and hack squat. But do I think they're up in S tier with the same caliber as a belt and straps? I don't know. I might put it in A tier because the thing about getting a quality pair of knee sleeves, they're going to cost you. I mean, I have the Inzer ones. I really like them. They've, done me very well. They're like $130, and I take my lifting very seriously. I'm a power lifter, so I need them, right? But a lot of people, at least from what I've seen, the trend now is more people are doing bodybuilding. So if you're a bodybuilder, do you need knee sleeves? I wouldn't say so. But would they be useful? They definitely would be useful. And if you have the money, you should definitely purchase them. But you should definitely get a belt and straps first. And then focus on the knee sleeves, right? But knee sleeves are a very nice piece of equipment. Moving on to the most underrated gym accessory there is, liquid chalk, or just chalk in general. Now, I'm a powerlifter, and if you guys are powerlifters, you've used chalk before, right? But a lot of people don't even really know. But you put it on your hands, and it will remove all the moisture from your hands. No sweat, no nothing, and it will make your hands completely white, and it makes your grip so much better. But it's not even about the grip, right? Like, we already have straps, but I use I use chalk on squats and bench, and of course deadlift, like obviously, but I use it on squat and bench as well. You might ask why. Well, if you're benching and your hands are sweaty, I mean, that's just another factor that you have to think about. And trust me, benching with when you have chalked up hands, everything, I mean, if you feel like you're in a stronger position, you feel more comfortable under the bar, and you can focus more on just pressing the weight and executing your form properly. Man, liquid chalk is so underrated. It's going in S tier for sure because it's not that expensive. It's like $20 for a bottle, which should last you a long time, like maybe over 2 months probably, maybe like 3 or 4 months. I don't know, but it depends on the bottle honestly. But liquid chalk is just so useful. It's not just about grip. It's about it's hard to explain, but you really just have to use it. You just have to use it, and it'll make your lifts feel so much better. Like I use it on squat, right, which doesn't really make much sense, but if you have sweaty hands or sweaty palms, especially if the bar you're using isn't super rough, then things can easily just like kind of slip out of place. But with chalk, that's not gonna happen. And with chalk, everything's gonna feel more intact, smoother, a lot better. And you just need to use it. If you haven't tried it, get some liquid chalk right now. It's amazing. Best purchase you'll ever make. Moving on, knee wraps. Not to be confused with knee sleeves, but knee wraps. So what is the difference? Well, you can use knee sleeves in powerlifting competitions and non-equipped powerlifting competitions. However, you cannot use knee wraps in powerlifting. That would be equipped. So essentially, I said before that the point of knee sleeves, it's not to reduce the force that you have to do on your squat. That's not the point. It's not supposed to just add pounds. But knee wraps are. They are just essentially going to be an extra like boost, an extra force that will add. I haven't used them, but they will add a significant amount of weight, maybe like 80 pounds. I can't say for certain because I haven't used them, but from what I've heard, 80 pounds, it could be around 80 pounds, but it's going to vary a little bit, of course. But they help a lot, and you have to wrap them tight, and it's equipped lifting, so of course they're going to help a lot. Now, do you need them? No, you don't. You do not need knee wraps unless you're an equipped powerlifter. I really don't see a reason for these. Sure, it's cool to move heavy weight, but at the end of the day, it's not really you moving heavy weight, which is why I don't understand equipped lifting personally. But I'm in between C and D tier for these. I'm gonna put them in D tier because I mean for 99.99% of gym goers, you're really just never gonna need knee wraps. Right? But moving on, I think they're like elbow sleeves, yeah, for bench. Um, Once again, I've never used them, and they are not legal in non-equipped powerlifting competitions. But I've seen a lot of people use them, and I actually kind of like the idea. It's kind of like knee sleeves, but for your elbows. And I can't give my personal experience, of course, but I'd imagine it would add around maybe 10 pounds in your bench press. That would be my guess. But I can't say for certain. Now, is this a necessary piece of equipment? No, it's not. It is not a necessary piece of equipment. Could it be useful and could it be beneficial? Maybe it could. I'm not saying it couldn't. I would definitely be open to try it in the future. Um, I'm gonna put it above knee wraps, but I don't think it goes in B tier. It could go in B tier. Honestly, man, you could justify putting this in B tier because you can do bench press, you can do shoulder press, you can do incline bench. But if you have elbow problems, or elbow pain, maybe give these a shot. But since I've personally never felt the need to use them, I'm gonna put them in C tier, but maybe B tier, maybe B tier. After I do everything, we're gonna reevaluate all of these. So, but moving on, we have deadlift slippers here. So deadlift slippers, you should use them on exercises like deadlift, obviously, and RDLs, and a lot of times even stuff like rows where your feet have to be planted into the ground. It can be useful on a lot of exercises, but I wouldn't really say they're necessary because at the end of the day, you could just take your shoes off and wear socks if your gym allows that. But I mean, deadlift slippers, they're not that expensive. And you don't want to, sometimes if you're wearing socks, it can slip. So with deadlift slippers, you're going to get good traction. If you're a power lifter, get them. If you're not a power lifter, you don't really need them. If you, I'm gonna put it below C tier below elbow sleeves because elbow sleeves more people I can see more people having use for them. But deadlift slippers, unless you're a power lifter, I mean, if you're a bodybuilder doing like RDLs, then yeah, you're gonna want deadlift slippers, or you can go barefoot. But you're not gonna want to do those in your like regular, tennis shoes. You're not. Because you want to be essentially connected to the floor, right? You don't want between any cushion that could be removing any force that you're trying to exert, which casual tennis shoes will have. But deadlift slippers is just it's a slipper with you're basically touching the ground. Um, but moving on, squat shoes. Squat shoes, I would say they're probably underrated. Essentially, you know how a lot of people will put their heels up on a plate and then do squats like that? Squat shoes are essentially a shoe built like that. It's a shoe, and you can kind of see it in this picture. It's like a slope upwards. So, and it's not good for everybody, but you have to try out like your squat stance to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. But I have squat shoes and I really like them. I think they're great. I'd put them in B tier. I think it's a very solid place for them. You should definitely try them if you can, but then again, they are expensive. They can be like, $150, but once you try them, it'll feel good. But then again, some people prefer squatting in deadlift shoes and just flats. Some people prefer squatting like that. So it's one of those things that you just kind of have to experiment with and try and see what you like to do better. Moving on, lifting gloves. I hope I don't need much of an explanation for this. That's going in D tier. I'm gonna give a short, my reasoning, but lifting gloves, all they do is they're gonna prevent calluses on your hands. And if you're going to the gym, why the fuck would you not want calluses? Calluses are kind of cool. They're like a sign that like you work out, and they're not even that painful. Like sure, at the very beginning, they might hurt a little bit, but it's really not that bad. You guys got to get over yourselves. Um, that's why I'm 100%. I don't ever see a reason for any of you to be lifting with lifting gloves. All it's gonna do is just make your hands not get callous, and calluses can actually be pretty useful for building your grip strength and building the tolerance. It's like you're just gonna be screwing yourself later down the line, unless you always want to be stuck wearing these, which no, you don't. Um, Moving on, a gym pin. So gym pins are you've probably seen them on TikTok, right? They're essentially what you've seen them. If you max out a machine, you can insert this thing and add more weight onto it. It's a good idea. It's a really good idea, but one, you have to be careful. I've seen people, break machines using these because like the machines aren't meant to like, hold the extra weight. Um, and then again, a lot of people don't really need this. Like a lot of people are not strong enough to actually need a gym pin. But then again, there's some people are. So do you need it? Most likely not. Have you been lifting for more than 5 years? Then maybe you need it. But I mean, if you haven't, you probably don't need it. Maybe on some machines, is it a worthy purchase for you? Probably not, unless you're like some like super strong dude. But I mean, I'll put them in C tier because a lot of people. I mean, if you need it, then you need it. But a lot of you don't need it. That's the thing. And our last one is smelling salts. Now, smelling salts is interesting, and people have different opinions on them because I've tried them a few times at some powerlifting meets I've been to, and you sniff them and it's like, oh, it's like a crazy smell, and it does get your adrenaline pumping some, but I don't actually think it makes you stronger. It might wake you up a little bit, but for me personally, it doesn't really do too much. For some people, it does though. But how necessary? What I think this is. I mean, I would put this above a gym pin, maybe like this. Let's look at our list real quick. So at the top, the most important piece of equipment, a lifting belt. This should be what you get first, I think. A lifting belt, if you're assuming you're going to squat, deadlift, or RDL, then you should totally get a lifting belt. If you don't do any of that stuff, then you don't need a lifting belt. But then again, you should be squatting, deadlifting, and RDLing. Like, come on. Like, let's do some of the old, let's not stick to just machines, right? It's kind of sad. This is going to be a little rant, but at my commercial gym, like, it can be like a super busy day, super packed, and I get in the parking lot and I'm like, oh, damn it, I'm not going to be able to get a rack today. There's so many people here. And then I go in and then all the racks are free because people are just on machines. Like, what is this? Like, are people just, like, not, like, doing squat, bench, and deadlift anymore? It's kind of crazy. But, I mean, I'm not complaining because then again, I get the rack. But, like, I feel like a lot of the people who are, like, there's a lot of teenagers, and I am a teenager, but there's a lot of teenagers who are, more new to the gym. I've been going to the gym for a while, but they're getting into it and they're sticking to machines because that's what's quote unquote optimal. And I get it. I do get it. Like, people want to train according to science, but there's nothing wrong with doing some good old fashioned strength training. And I feel like a lot of people are underestimating, how fun and effective strength training can be. And so I'd recommend getting a lifting belt, whatever. That's a tangent. Straps, very important. I actually have the Versa grip straps. I really like them. Would recommend. For any back movement, anything where you're going to be holding weight, like a lat pull down, like rows, you should get this. Chalk, amazing. Chalk is so underrated, and like I use it on almost not like if I'm doing like a set of like maybe even like bicep curls, man. Like if I'm sweaty, if my palms are sweaty and I'm doing bicep curls, I'm gonna use some chalk, because you know why? You are gonna get more reps. If I'm doing bicep curls with sweaty palms with no chalk versus the same exact thing with chalk, I am going to get more reps with chalk, which is why chalk is so underrated. It's just it makes you feel stronger, more powerful. It just does. Like, just get liquid chalk, dude. Just get it. Knee sleeves, great for squats. I use them on lunges, leg press, hack squat. They're great. They're going to help your knees, make you a tad bit stronger. They're good. Squat shoes, very solid again. You don't need them. You don't need them, especially because, I just recently got them. You can squat, very well in flats. Some people actually prefer flats, so it's up to you if you want to get these, but I would try them out. Elbow sleeves, never tried them, so I can't give my personal experience, but it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. It looks like a nice piece of equipment I wouldn't be opposed to using. And the deadlift slippers, I use them all the time on deadlift. I love them, but if you're a powerlifter, get them. If not, you probably don't need them. Just go barefoot for RDLs. Swelling slots, not for me. They're okay, but it is what it is. Gym pin, let's be real, you're probably not strong enough to need one. I'm not. I mean, I can max out machines, of course, but you can just use better form and then go lighter weight. Like, you don't, or more reps. Like, and even still, like, the only machine I can really I can max out leg extension and hamstring curl, but I mean, it wouldn't be worth it to get a gym pin. I'd add on like 5 extra pounds maybe, or like 5 to 10 to 15 extra pounds. I'm not at that point where I need it yet. Knee wraps, unless you're an equipped powerlifter, you don't need it. And then lifting gloves. If you wear lifting gloves, just come on, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. But that's all for this. Let me know if you agree or disagree. If you like lifting sorry, I'm dying. But if you like lifting in MMA, that's what I talk about here. So if you like that, then sub. If not, see ya. I'm out of here.